Good night, everyone. Johnson. Tonight, God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Armin Joe Spirit Divine. I'm here to give you some news on tonight. First we're gonna start with student loan forgiveness claim. It's still been going on. This forgiveness loan claim been going on since 3 years ago when the pandemic hit. So the student debt release plan landed before the Supreme Court. President Bennett, he was trying to help all, students to get their loan paid off, for low income. So the plan was to revoke emergency power because of the economic hardship, endure from the pandemic, and forgiveness of $10,000 in the student debt for all. Supreme Court to hear argument on student loan forgiveness, plan. The Supreme Court is set to hear legal challenges that could effort to release student debt. So nearly 3 years ago, since COVID hit, since COVID hit, it forced a lot of people to be out of work. And sometimes since that had happened, a lot of people it's still hard to catch up. So when COVID hit, they put the student loan on pause. They put it on pause, so no one had to pay the student loan. But it still had to be paid. So while the House officially made the decision to temporarily, pause all student loans during COVID, repayment without penalty and accruing interest. So that was a temporary pause for which had been extended 8 times since, has proven to be far more permanent than intended. So it's been 3 years, and it's time for forgiveness loan to move forward, and get out of pause. So we have President Bennett who campaigned on forgiveness up to $10,000 per borrower, during his 2020 campaign. So Pell Granted is a small government, grant for low income families. So if you earn less than $125,000 a year, you'll get $10,000 knock off of your student loan debt. So he trying to help our students. Because even though they put a pause on their student loan when COVID hit, it still had to be paid. So Mr. President Bennett have completely confidence in his plan, and he say it is legal. So 26 million, borrowers had already applied. So many people applied. When soon he came out with this plan, so many people had applied, and then also 16 million was approved. It was approved for cancellation, but no debt release had been discharged. So they haven't discharged it. It just had been on temporary hold. So the argument was set for February 28th, which is tomorrow. $10,000 a student, a borrower, to have their loan paid off, will cost $1.6 trillion. So we see Mr. President, he works so hard in this program. When COVID hit, many, was out of work. So the student loan was put on hold. So the program for low income and household to receive $10,000 knocked off of your bill, off of your student loan. You have to have low income and have to meet those requirements that I named earlier. You said you have to have at least 125,000 a year. So it stated that $10,000 will be knocked off of the borrower student loan, forgiveness loan. So I request that forgiveness student loan be released off a temporary pause. So we can move forward and pay these student loans because you have so many students depending on this loan. Because some of them already like I said, so you had 16 million already approved. You have 26 million borrowers, and it constantly is going to school every day. Every day somebody applying for school. You know, so So many students depending on this forgiveness loan. So let's break it down. Let's break it down to $5,000 to knock off of their own student loan. Instead of 10,000, let's knock it down to 5,000. So let this loan be released and be off of pause and move forward. So I request, that we allow all these students to get their loan paid off. You have so many already approved, and so many apply. So that many that depending on this student loan. So if 10,000, is too much, 5,000 not it's not much, but let's knock it down to 5,000 and see how that would and see how the numbers would work with that for each borrower. Knock that off the student loan, off their debt bill. So that's the forgiveness loan. I also want to talk about minimum wage, in New Orleans. So Governor Edwards, he pushing for higher minimum wage in Louisiana. Louisiana Governor, Edwards has said that increasing the minimum wage in Louisiana will be one of his goals. Be one of his goals. So Louisiana minimum wage really needs to change. It's been $7.25 since 2009. So that's a long time. It has not changed. And so many other states have been increased their minimum wage. So the governor stated that he been supportive, of the increase in minimum wage since before he was governor. Even $7.25 an hour. It's simply insignificant. So the governor said that he will write a letter to Louisiana Council, asking them to find a way to increase the minimum wage. Now he expect minimum bill pushing for an increase to be introduced at the state level this year as well. And he said $10 an hour. So the students have shown that Louisiana have the second highest percentage of workers in the country who actually work for the minimum wage. Those reasons the fact caused by such a low income. So you have some people today, it's working $7.25 an hour. That's why we're saying the minimum wage have to go up, because some people still paying people $7.25 an hour. So the wages that I believe it's time that we increase the minimum wage. That will be an additional effort in Louisiana this year in a season that starts in April. So they're gonna start in April. So I require I had talked about minimum wage like about twice. Once on February to 8th. And I stated $11.25 an hour. So today I require for the bill to change minimum wage to $11.25 an hour. So it's been a long time coming, since 2009, and it's still at the same pace of $7.25 an hour. So today, so many people are still working at $7.25 an hour. So some people, some people still paying people minimum wage. But since they're still paying people minimum wage, it have to change. So Louisiana minimum wage have to change, and I have requests for it to change, increase to $11.25 an hour. And that's expect for a change for this year. The living expenses is so high right now. So why not boost up the minimum wage? So they'll be able, to still pay bills and still be able to shop. So that's the news I have on minimum wage. So we also talk about the forgiveness student loan. Been put on hold. They put on hold for like 3 years. So I had requests for it to be taken off pause, been taken off to take it off hold. And 10,000 be knocked off in the borrower, of their student loan. But that's cost for the student loan. That cost for the student loan to be $1.6 trillion. So And I had requested 5,000. May not be still too much, but let's bring it down to 5,000. Borrow. Knock 5,000 off of their bill. And they pay the balance. They will have to get on a payment plan and be at a certain time to pay that off, so the interest won't go up so high. Knock $5,000 off of their forgiveness loan. And give them to 5 years to pay the balance off. Because anything past 5 years, the interest gonna go up high. So that's the best we can do, because 1.6 million dollars, trillion dollars, they're gonna keep putting a hold on it. So and I still request for us to be passed, to be placed off the hold. So all of these students, bill can get paid. Because they've been waiting a long time. You have 6 million already approved. So let's not, let them be, still waiting. Let them not be still waiting to get it paid. Because so many people was out of work when COVID hit. So why not release, release it off the hold, and all the ones that was approved already, let's start working on them. So that's the forgiveness student loan. We also talked about the minimum wage, because the expenses, living expenses is just so high. Especially in Louisiana, the minimum wage has not changed. It's still $7.25 an hour. So I request the minimum wage to change to $11.25 an hour. So that's all the news I have for you on today. We talk about the student loan forgiveness plan. I have requests for it to be released off a hold, and the minimum wage increase to $11.25 an hour in Louisiana. So y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see y'all in the next.